Politicians on both sides weighing in on the Supreme Court's opinion on the health care law. But what do doctors think the impact is going to be in practicality? Joining us now is somebody who has two hats. Georgia Congressman Phil Gingrey, also a doctor and part of the GOP Doctors Caucus in Congress. Congressman, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Shannon. Good to be with you.
I want to ask you, as you understand the health care law and being a medical professional, are you worried about how it's going to impact doctors, their ability to provide certain care, and their patients?
Shannon, absolutely. You know, Justice Roberts has determined that this law is not unconstitutional. But let me tell you what some of the uns that it is. It's unworkable, it's unenforceable, it's unpopular, and by golly, it's un-American. And you're right, it's absolutely going to destroy the physician workforce. We're having so much trouble now getting doctors to see Medicare and Medicaid patients, and that problem is just going to get worse and worse. President Obama promised to fix the medical liability problem. He promised to fix the payment, the reimbursement problem for our primary care doctors, our family practitioners, and specialists. He didn't do that. In fact, his bill, this law, fails on all counts. It needs to be stricken down, and I think Governor Romney, our next president, is absolutely right. And of course, as you know, in the House of Representatives on the 11th of this month, we'll have yet another vote to repeal Obamacare.
Which obviously the Senate will not go along with you, the current makeup of the Senate, on that vote. But let me ask you, if you are successful at some point, if Republicans are successful at some point, what will you replace this with? Because both sides of the aisle agree, and you would know better than most as a doctor, that our healthcare system needs some kind of reform.
Well, Shannon, I think this time the American people will get what they truly deserve, an open process where we will have the sunshine, the light of day, and the people in the room, and not just a few deals cut over at the White House with special interest groups. And that's what Obamacare and its 2,800 pages is all about. I don't think the American people have a stomach for we Republicans to repeat that, and we won't do that. We're more honest with the American people. We will replace, but first of all, we've got to repeal and start with a clean slate. That doesn't mean that there aren't some things like youngsters 26 years of age and younger to remain on their parents' health insurance. Unfortunately, they're having to do that today because this president and the Democrats, when they had it all, didn't do anything about the economy. And all these young people, indeed, who voted for President Obama are the ones that are sitting there without jobs now, needing that health insurance with their parents' policies. So I think what we need to do is not another mega omnibus bill, but individual things that truly will bring down the cost of health care. And Shannon, do it in a market-driven way, not IPAB and all these government bureaucrats taking over health care, which, as you know, is 1/6 of our economy.
How do you respond to those who say that vote on July 11th, as you mentioned, in which the House, controlled by Republicans, will almost certainly vote for a full repeal, is politics at a time that there are a lot of things that need to be handled and need to be passed and acted on?
Shannon, my people in the 11th District of Georgia, Northwest Georgia, 700,000, of course, is what we all represent. I mean, they're telling me repeatedly, you guys are not doing enough. You're not tough enough. You're not standing up to this president. You're letting Henry Waxman and Nancy Pelosi push you around. They're going to be very happy that Eric Canna has the courage. John Boehner has the courage. We Republicans, indeed, will let the American people know that we're still on their side. Because I said at the outset of the clip, this law, well, Justice Roberts can say all day long he is the Supreme Court justice and he's a Chief Justice, and he says it's constitutional, but by golly, it's un-American. And it's our responsibility to represent the American people and to strike this law down.
All right, Congressman and Dr. Phil Gingrey, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Shannon.
The violence in Syria is showing